Aloha, I'm Jim Beck. I'd like to thank 3PGC for providing this opportunity to share in honoring the great theosopher Sydney Banks in the 50th year since he experienced that wonderful enlightenment. And now I'm going to try to address 4 suggested questions that might help create this tribute.
Question 1. Would you briefly explain what your life looked like before you had your first insight into the 3 principles?
It wasn't a pretty sight. I was very lost. My marriage was disintegrating. Financially, we were struggling. I'd been to Vancouver. I was on a ferry boat late at night, returning home to Salt Spring after yet another failure. My behavior was strange, to say the least. There I was, pacing the boat, round and round, from one stateroom at the front to another stateroom in the stern. It was a pretty big boat. My mind was tangled up with thoughts. I felt totally alone. I kept trying to make eye contact with other passengers as I passed, which they certainly weren't interested in. Great agitation. Mentally unstable. Far from mental wellness. Out of kilter. Next.
Question 2. What was your insight?
That's a beautiful question. It's not a was. There was a circumstance, but the insight continues to reveal itself. What was it? It was nothing spoken. It was total feeling. The boat was stopping at various islands on the way. And the last one before Salt Spring was Main Island. I was pacing. A few people got off the boat, and a few more got on. When I came to the next stateroom, I was stopped in my tracks by the sight of this new couple who were sitting with their backs to me in the front row of the stateroom. I didn't know what it was, but it jolted me out of my self-important, frantic walking. And I had to have a look at them. I would have been going that way anyway, because that was part of going round and round. But I hesitated when I went by them. They were a very ordinary middle-aged couple, tired, heads together. I saw love. I knew that. And strangely, I never finished my next circuit of pacing. A seat appeared, and I took it. That was my first glimpse of Sid Banks, the theosopher, and his wife, Barb. That was unconditional love that touched me. Love that welled up from inside. The insight that jumps the gap between the form and the formless. It changed my life in an instant. And it continues to change my life over and over again. It brought me to my center. I had no intellectual knowledge of what it was. But it changed my life and continues to change my life forever.
Question 3. How has your life changed and your practice changed since gaining a new understanding based on the 3 principles?
Well, my life has changed completely. I've become aware that there is a formless and a form. I have become aware that negative thought creates negative feelings, unhelpful feelings, destructive feelings. Feelings like anger, hate, fear, depression, panic. Doesn't mean I can't engage in this destructive thinking. But what it means is I'm aware. And I know I don't want those feelings. And so I let go of those thoughts. I become aware that thought is the creative force. Thought is how we create formlessness into form. I've become a kinder, more loving, more compassionate, more content human being. I've learned to share.
Question 4. How do you see this understanding changing the field of mental health and your understanding of the human spirit?
Well, it's in the process of totally changing the field of mental health. Right now, predominantly, humanity is still under the old belief that their problems are created by outside forces that they cannot control. And treatment is an afterthought that comes too late. Humanity is really realizing that virtually all mental problems are a result of negative thinking, thoughts of the past, rehashing old traumas, believing that you can be broken by trauma and going with that. Addictions, trying to escape, trying to put your joy on some outside substance or action, rather than realizing the power that we have within. Realizing that it's a spiritual world. That there is a formless. Realizing and allowing our natural state of balance to be where we want to be. In a place of kindness, in a place of compassion, in a place of love, in a place of understanding, in a place of oneness. We're all the same. We're all one thought away from our own enlightenment. Nobody's any closer, and nobody's any farther. We're all the same. Thanks, Sid.